come around to the other.
Maybe he's, I
Okay.
hope he's not waiting in the other
We're
room.
on.
Yeah, welcome everybody to the town board work session of Monday, December 11th, 2017. First item on our agenda, we're actually gonna start off with the raising the age for tobacco and vape product purchases. And Ed, correct me if I'm wrong, the state gives us the ability to raise the age up to 21 years for both those.
The board has it within its discretion to raise the age. There's no impediment by way of preemption.
Right.
Just because there's a state statute that speaks to this, courts have held that, and we're comfortable advising you that this is something that town board can go ahead and consider and potentially do.
So we can raise it, not lower it, obviously. Got it.
So this is sort of an extension of what we did last month when we banned vape shops. And at that time,
We didn't ban vapes.
no, we didn't ban vape shops, we
their
restricted
location.
vape shops in certain locations, right? And basically, at that time, there were people advocating for us to ban the sale of tobacco products. And this would be actually not banning the sale of the tobacco products, but is limiting it to our youth. And the same with the vaping products, I mean, vaping, you know, it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem, and it's more and more people becoming aware of it. And there's plenty of places to buy vaping products, whether it's in Newcastle or outside Newcastle, but I think it sends the right message. Because, you know, if we can limit it at the gas stations that sell it, or the Rite Aids and Walgreens that sell it, I think we should.
Yes, I agree, limiting ease of access makes it a beneficial
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yep, me too.
statute.
Okay.
So there are a couple of examples, not that many, actually. This is something that is relatively new on the municipal level, but there are, town of Hempstead has done it on Long Island. We'll look at some other examples, and then we'll find language and a place to fold it into the town code. We can have that on a work session agenda in January.
And just one other question about enforcement, so is it the county that enforces the age restriction now? In other words, cause it's the same, it's just a different age group, who?
It's 18 now, it's a state law, it may well be the county.
Because this isn't a responsibility that we'll have to take on as far as enforcement, right?
Well, it'd be the county, it's Department of Health.
Yeah, but, you know, I think that there, I think there certainly is a role for the town to play in terms of, if it's gonna raise it locally, it's gonna be something that's in the town code, so if if a
Well, our
merchant.
town prosecutors, when I handled when I was a prosecutor underage drinking in town, I mean, it's by locally, so I would assume.
It's gonna depend on the language that we adopt, but it's gonna be part of the town code, so it's gonna fall on the town to enforce the age, if you adopt the age 21 minimum, it's gonna be on the town to pick up the enforcement on that.
Wow.
But even,
Enforcement is
I
not,
mean,
how
yes.
heavy is enforcement gonna be?
right, I
understand.
mean, even, you know, so
Right.
alcohol at 21, it's not like we have police officers stationed in every liquor store to make sure they're not selling, it's kind of, the onus is on the property, establishment owner, sort
We're gonna
of,
have to
isn't
do a
it?
sting.
I would imagine.
Well, right, if we find out people are,
I think the first step is
Buying
gonna be
underage.
just outreach to tell, probably aren't that many merchants in town
Right.
that actually sell these products, so,
Just a few.
you know, reach out to those few and get.
some of the
I
gas
think if you
stations
don't do
in the
enforcement
drugstore.
locally, it'll never be enforced because the county's not gonna, oh.
But
we have to go
I'm just
to
asking, I'm just
Newcastle
asking the question,
because-
that's all.
You know, it's a good.
And it also could, you know, it could come down to, we don't necessarily have to do, you know, undercover enforcement, but like, let's say you confiscate it from some kid in school and they ask them where they bought it, and they said they bought it at the gas station. And then you pay, you know, police pay a call to the gas station to remind them that,
Right.
our local law, you know.
I'm
Okay.
good with it.
Maybe you can make a magnet that they can put in their stores.
Exactly.
Could be like in
Or
the shape of a
car magnet,
camel.
yes.
Could be in the shape of a camel, maybe?
Well, the truth is, you know, I did go to I'm part of the President's Council of Westchester Hospital, and the truth is, the way they're advertising these vaping products, they use the camel guy as an example. I mean, we look back at the commercials that they used to have for Camel products, and we laugh at it now, but they're using the same exact techniques right now, these vaping products, and these vaping companies are owned by the tobacco companies.
Right.
Of course, you get them
Of course
now,
they
they
are.
can, so they'll smoke later.
So it's basically like, and people don't realize there's no control, like at least with a cigarette you had a beginning and end. These vaping people don't realize in one of these vaping things, whatever they're called, I forgot what they're called, it's a pack of cigarettes, and you could be smoking that in one day, kid, they have no idea.
Jewel.
No, the Juul is like the device to smoke it, but the actual chamber with the oil, you know, whatever it is. So there's no, they don't know how much you're smoking, they think it's okay, they don't realize it's nicotine, it's addictive. It's a big problem. And we're not talking about marijuana, you know, we're talking about the nicotine. And it, you know, it's electronic, it's cool looking, they think it's healthy, they don't realize it's dangerous.
Okay,
Alright,
moving on.
Conifer
We're all in
extension.
agreement.
Conifer Extension was on at the last week's work session. We had asked Conifer to come back with a letter from its lender. You've got a letter in your packet at page 9, Bank of America, dated December 7th, explaining, as Conifer had indicated to you when they were here last week, that they need this extension to satisfy a condition of its financing that its lender has imposed.
And we don't have any standing really to deny it, correct?
Well, we talked about the standard last week, and the building inspectors looked at it, is well aware of the standard, he recommends that you grant the extension. Remember, we talked a little bit about changed circumstances last week, there really aren't changed circumstances here that would warrant a denial. And there's no question that they've been proceeding diligently, reasonably diligently in terms of the project. They've got a building permit, they've started construction, so that's where we are.
Okay.
Scenic easement for 36 Carolyn Place.
Yeah.
Send Steve a text, he's coming for.
But we finished that already, that keeps going.
It keeps
Now
coming
we
in,
take it
the
over.
planning board wanted to make sure it was okay with the town board wanted to make sure it was okay with the planning board. We finally got it in writing from everybody that it's okay with everyone involved, and so
Okay, the
We
first two
left and we
times.
said it was okay with the planning board, which
we finally got something from them in writing, so we're good to go. End of year financial adjustments. So what you're gonna see in your town board packet is a resolution requesting authorization from the town board to Rob Deary to take and basically make certain adjustments, everything other than contingency, that allow him to produce a balanced budget for the end of the year. So that means if there was within administration, if we overspent on office supplies, but we underspent on boards and commissions, that Rob can take and move that money around to be able to take and just produce a balanced budget. And it's something that we do every year, just so that the board's aware.
Okay, Steve is not gonna be joining us tonight.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I think we failed to mention the meetings on what tonight. I mean, set it tomorrow, it's okay, it's my fault.
Okay. Sure.
Good job.
Alright. Next one was a purchase of Parks Department vehicle.
I didn't point out that it's a Monday night.
What, sorry, what?
Nothing. I said I didn't point out that it's a Monday night.
Oh, sorry, I'm
Okay.
sure we said the dates of those.
No, the date, we did say the date, we didn't point out that it's.
So I think Councilman Salan would actually like to ask a question about that,
No, I'm gonna let you do it, actually, I wanted you to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
about are we selling old vehicles to make up for the new vehicle?
I wanted you to go out, because you always, I know this was a big priority of yours.
Yes, I, number one, top of the list.
Yes, we are going to take in, we usually do surplus in the beginning of the year, you know, right in that February, March period of time.
It's really fun, I think fun is real work, can you let us know how we finish out the year in surplus vehicles?
That would be fun.
That'd
Be
be
a lot
awesome.
of fun. Is it 30 grand, is it 80 grand, is it $1 million, are we?
Making it happen.
It's not $1 million, that I can rest assured, but you
You
know,
think
it's
it's-
actually,
you think
it's
it's
pretty
six
heavy. Certainly 5.
Well, I would assume 5.
I'd like to think so, right, I'd like to think so, right? North of 50?
Maybe close to that.
Don't speculate, you're gonna
I
get
just
yourself in
don't,
trouble.
yeah, I genuinely don't know.
Is there any way also to find out what the, let's assume we put the senior van, you know, out to bid.
Yep.
I mean, we're not putting it out to bid, but can we get a price for what it would go for if we wanted to, like, so we could just compare out, know what we're, all the,
To sell it?
if we're gonna sell it,
or do you
no,
mean
cause
to
if we're gonna get
pursue
this
it?
other one, let's say the electric one,
Right,
and then we're trying to calculate our costs, and we say, okay, X, we're gonna get rid of the current one, and we can go out to bid, and we can probably recoup X amount of dollars for it,
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
just to get a ballpark
Get a
estimate.
dollar, so much you can deduct back from that.
Exactly, to figure out what this thing's really gonna cost us.
Again, I don't know if Sabrina needs to give us this answer, but when do we have to decide if we're having the conversation still about the,
well,
Van.
sooner rather than later,
what's that
and,
mean?
okay, and, what that means is that, if we take and change the project scope, and so we don't go with the electric van.
But wasn't the scope A or B?
Not really, so what it was the electric van, and if money was left over, then we were going to go for LED streetscape, not to be
Okay.
confused with LED street lights.
Got it.
So that's what it was for. As it turns out, the electric van is going to encompass all of the grant. And we
Right.
scored significantly higher on the project because of the electric van. If it was just a streetscape project, we may not have gotten it. But that electric vehicle is what put us at the top. So having said that, if we walk away from the electric vehicle, the entire project and the funding has to go back and be reconsidered and regraded.
Got it.
what is the turnaround time for that? And when does it have to be done by? Because while we
Ideally, you
don't
would
wanna-
not want to do it.
Because at the same time, we also don't wanna invest in something that is not a good investment. Whether or not we get quote unquote free money, it's not free money, cause
Well,
there's
no, it's
Well,
a
we have to pay
there's
more
collateral
money toward
costs.
it too.
Yes, there's collateral costs. So what do we, how do we get the answer? I wanna know when we have to know by, and if we have
Well,
to
it's not a
take-
matter of knowing by, so if we walk away from the electric van,
Okay,
we will have to take and resubmit whatever it is that we are proposing to spend the money on back to NYSERDA, and they will take and evaluate whether or not that project is then worthy of the money.
but we, tell me if I'm wrong, we were still the first in our size and the second in the state to get, to be a clean, I forgot the title.
Yes, but
So
it
we
also,
get, don't we get that money?
no, we got it on the basis of the quality of our, we scored very highly when it came to the project.
And did Sabrina get back to us on the hybrid?
She is going to get that information by Wednesday, the
We
fellow is
became
traveling.
eligible to receive a grant. I think it was language, we became eligible to receive a grant, and then we had to apply for the grant.
Alright, so is there someone that we can speak to then from the state, or whomever it may be, to say, alright, this is what we plan on changing, how will this, because
Yeah, but the
from a
problem is
practical
that we don't
standpoint-
have we don't have that information yet to be able to go back because we don't have the information about the hybrid.
okay, so then again, the question then goes back, I'm sorry, I'm not really chasing after you, but when do we have to have that answer by then? When can we think, what is our hard stop of saying, making up the date, January 14th, if we don't move forward,
She said we'll know by Wednesday about the hybrid.
but that's not my question.
Right, the earlier the better
So we
because
should decide by next meeting.
But when's our but it's not, let's answer the
I
question.
don't know that there is
Is March 15th the date we have to have something moving forward, otherwise we lose it?
Right.
That's really the question I'm asking.
and I don't know that it's date dependent as so much as it's project dependent.
So can
And
we,
if they don't find our revised project worthy, we may not get it no matter how early we are.
okay, so how do we have to wait though to get the hybrid information back because,
Till Wednesday, right?
right, and then it just thinking out
And then the
loud.
board will think about it, we'll have a discussion on the 19th, and I'm hoping at that point, we can fish or cut bait.
I mean, just thinking out loud, I mean, it would be shameful, and I hope it wouldn't be the case, that the state would penalize a hilly region that had a good idea that maybe was not the best suited to a flat region which could use a hybrid much more efficiently. It would just seem to me that they'd be open, I'm not the state, to recognize that.
Or we probably would make that point.
Well, I don't, I think,
Uses.
I think when we look, if we're gonna use it as a show that went back and forth all day long,
wouldn't survive,
work, but I
yeah.
think if we're using it for basically a couple of runs a day, and to, in conjunction with Chapel Crossing, and when the seniors use it for local trips, which is their shopping and their doctor's appointments and other local visits, and occasionally use it for the Chapel Performing Arts, if we have a special event in town, I think it probably would suffice. But if we were talking about using it as a full-time shuttle that, with a set schedule every day, then it probably, it wouldn't, we couldn't use it for that. But I also think that there's probably no demand for that, you know.
So if Sabrina, I know she knows already, but as concrete answers we can get from the state about the state and I don't know, you get, we just need concrete answers so we know, so.
I know, and hopefully Sabrina has promised me that she's getting that information from the source on Wednesday. And so
Right.
hopefully we'll have some solid information to go
Thank you.
by.
Good.
So almost there. So this is a purchase of actually a Parks vehicle, which is a dump truck. And this is just piggybacking, in Rob Deary's opinion, he believes that he's in that we're in a better position to purchase it in 2017 than we are in, or at least for now.
Okay.
Interesting judgment.
And the next is the balloon flow test for Homeland Towers. So we've gotten correspondence from them, they have interest in 3 different carriers, they'd like to take the next step, which is a balloon test. They're going to tell us what the dates are, we're gonna take in, now that all the leaves are off the trees, so it's at its most visible. And we'll take some pictures and get some publicity, and the residents know.
And I think, you know, I was gonna try to track down that email, but the way the rent works is that they pay us a set rent per month, and that was an issue we had, it was only like, I think $2,500, something like that, wasn't that much. But then, every carrier after the first one, it's like a fee sharing arrangement, where basically that we get 40%, they get 40%, I don't remember. But so basically, we're not talking 2,500 anymore because they have 3 carriers lined up. You know, the first carrier is part of the base, then you get 2 more carriers, and they'll probably get a 4th carrier also.
Those
So
are the
that's how you
20%
get it up to $5,000, is by, what?
Was it a 20% or you just made up those numbers?
No, it's not 20%, I forgot the percentage, but it's a decent percent you get.
No, you
after
said
the first
40%
one.
and 40%.
No, it's either,
I was
I wasn't sure, it's like.
no, I meant it's either.
I was just going with it,
No,
okay.
I meant to say, it's either 40 or 60%, that we get 40 or they get 40. It's a 40-60 split, I don't remember which way it went.
so is it
I actually
40?
think it was 60 to us.
60,
40
40,
and
just
20.
I think it was 60 to us actually, it was a good deal. It was a good deal, the more carriers you get. And it's a standard arrangement they have with every
Did you get the
municipality.
whiteboard out?
What, if they get $2,000 rent from some provider, we get
Stop.
whatever 60% of that would be. Was that
1,200.
1,200?
If you want, I know an attorney in the city who just specializes in telecom and it's called co-locating's the word, Rob, if you're looking
Wow.
for it. With it, like and I could talk to him about like what the market is and whatever if you want.
We'll negotiate those terms when the time comes with the
Alright.
carrier.
But it's
Probably
not
an
25,
executive
but-
session,
What?
probably an executive session would be my guess.
Oh, we should talk about the executive.
Oh, this is all just very generic, but when
Very
we get to that point, we'll,
Robert Green's is not the gospel of carrier fees.
Possibly not.
I just, that was, well, listen, as the rent is a concern that we all have.
Yeah,
Very much so.
absolutely. So, not that I don't wanna hear from Steve Wolf and SAB, I absolutely positively do, but I would like permission at least, to ask the board for authorization to just go out and get bids on what the LED streetlights will cost. And then I'm happy, once we get our bids back, to have SAB in to tell us what are the best ones for us to purchase and you know, what the lumens should be, how bright, how much they cost, everything else, just so we can move along. Okay, that'll be great.
Okay.
Is that all?
I like that clock more.
What, that one?
Yeah.
The one that's not working?
That's a good
The one that says 10 after 6? Yeah, that'll throw you right off. And it works every once in a while.
Just twice a day.
No, it started, it was 5 o'clock when we started. Now it's 10 after 6. Just time it very slowly on that side of it. Okay, so.
You'll just, when you go out for proposals for the lights, just check with Steve first, because if we know it's a certain lumens we want, let's
Yes, get them.
have
So,
them
yes,
bid
I will
for
get
that,
from him
what
a
we
list
want.
of, I believe that Fred Stein has already, Rick Stein rather, has already provided us with the specifications that he wanted, but I will double check.
with this?
You know,
Oh.
yeah, Jay has a partner whose house burned down in Connecticut, and they found out that his daughter's computer, the battery overloaded. She couldn't, she was like looking
Like
at
on her bed or something?
Yeah, that's okay.
was working in the
That's
closet to
insurance.
stay away from the younger kids
Yeah,
because
that's
they were
all.
too loud.
And it's on tape also.
pilot
The wire's
photos,
okay,
it
it's
went
just
up.
this piece.
That's
Oh my
great,
God.
it's on
Yeah.
tape too, the
Is
notice
there
of
a,
my defective wire.
Alright, are we done? The farmer's market's still meeting next door.
No, that's Birchwood, they're downstairs, farmer's market.
Oh,
And they're
so-
actually on our agenda for tonight for approval.
Can we adjourn?
Um,
Make a motion to
Anything
adjourn
else?
tonight?
Oh, wait, can we talk about one thing while we're in executive session?
Well, not an
I
executive
mean, while
session.
we're in work session,
Yeah.
just about the streetscape and the email today. You know, what can we do about asking Con Ed to, I mean, today was crazy in town. What can we do about asking them to stop work until the beginning of January?
We actually asked them, and they told us no.
Are they allowed to say no?
I don't know, the problem is that they have, they're replacing an aging gas main. So, although clearly part of the project is because we're doing our streetscape, but the other part of it is that they don't think it'll last 5 or 10 years or whatever, it's beyond its useful life. So I'm a little reluctant to tell Con Ed, oh, don't finish the work, when when I'm really,
Cause it's
But
really
is it-
hurting merchants,
Right, is
it's a
it
problem.
impending that now it's gonna, the main is gonna go? If that was a concern, they'd probably put us on notice. I mean, I understand it's probably convenient
they're not gonna
and
put
they're
you
working
on
with
notice.
this. Right, I understand that, but they're only doing this now in part because they're working with us on another issue. They weren't gonna come here regardless to replace that aging gas main, and then,
Right, but they wouldn't be doing all this work if it was gonna last 5 or 10 years.
we're not worried about
whatever.
5 or 10 years, we're worried about 2 weeks.
Right.
I don't know.
Kaz would be a
Cause
good
it's
person.
really
But
a
Kaz is here to,
problem
Kaz is
with
here to
the
talk
Because
to
remember,
merchants.
you've gotta coordinate their work with the infrastructure work.
I know.
So if you throw them,
But if we have no stores when this is over,
And it doesn't matter.
it's not gonna make a difference.
But I thought it was also, we did ask them, they said no, but I thought one of the reasons they said no was that they're working under a work permit from the state.
They are.
And which is either expired or expiring soon, and I think the state basically said you have 2 more weeks to get it done or something like that, that's what they told us.
Well, can we have can you ask for the correct confirmation, if not just them telling us that? Can you say, listen, if that's the case and we can't do anything with the state, or we can make overtures to the state, but show us, corroborate and confirm that that is the issue.
And I'll also add that I got that email and I'm gonna be forwarding them, and I asked Jill again for permission, I'm forwarding them the email from Con Ed where they said they went door to door to all the merchants, to all the property owners, and that's different,
Right.
right? The property owners and the merchants are different.
One property owner I saw just emailed
I
and said
saw,
they
I
own
saw
2
Phil, I know, I
places
saw that
and
too,
no one
but,
approached them.
and I don't know if she's on their list, and I'll look at the list, but they may not have gotten in touch with that, no, but they may not have gotten in touch with every single property owner when that email was sent. But they went door to door to the various property owners, and they had a schedule, and they said, do you want nighttime connections, you want a daytime connection, and if you want a daytime connection, these are the opening spots we have, if you're on nighttime, these are the open spots. And they sent us the whole chart, and it says who they spoke to and what they signed up for. Now, I don't know if this particular building owner is on that, and then maybe they couldn't get in touch with her, but they did, a lot of these connections, they spoke to the building owners.
And there were 2
And
emails,
they-
there was a subsequent email also on the same thing.
They
Yeah.
and these people are choosing daytime connections, they don't wanna pay people to be there at night
Or
for
they
this connection.
can't be there from
Or they
10 p.m.
can't,
to
right.
5 a.m. I mean, I had somebody who called me today to tell me that they had scheduled with Con Ed to be come tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then he realized that that would mean closing the road, so he was gonna call Con Ed back up and try to make it for an evening appointment. I left him a message on his cell phone.
Shouldn't Con Ed have said, if you want a day appointment, that means we're gonna be closing the road
He
during
did,
the
I'm sure
day.
his landlord spoke to him and said, who's also a merchant in town, and said, are you kidding?
Right,
We're trying very hard to keep Con Ed out and to work at night, and you're here during the day.
right.
The merchants are not the property owners, in many
Yeah, but
cases.
some of it's even the, the merchants.
Well, I mean, hopefully the merchants are communicating to the property owner. There needs to be a conversation internally. If the property owner is making the determination,
I mean, a lot of
Didn't
it's
communicate
I agree 100%, but a lot of it's also frustration. Today was a bad day in town for the, Con Ed has huge presence in town and,
Yeah.
I didn't see it personally, but I saw
I
pictures.
saw it.
Let's see, hopefully maybe they're almost done. Let's ask Kaz when he comes.
But on a positive note, I did meet with all the restaurant owners today, and they're forming a group, and John Finelli was there as well, and we're working with Northern Westchester, and we're trying to, we're gonna try to deal with some of the issues for the restaurants,
There should definitely be tie-ins.
No, they're gonna do a lot of good tie-ins. Lot of great ideas were circulated, but also with the Northern Westchester, more wine around town events, and the chamber was there, and more, because like, for example, Matt Cook, who came from Connecticut, he's like, every month it's the biggest, it's people come from all over the place for their, they have like a wine around town event, and they have it once a month. It's like the biggest thing,
Wow, that's
and,
great.
I know the merchants love wine around town, and the restaurants owners love it too. It's great. And the Chapel Performing Arts Center, there's great things, so they're gonna try to do more collaboration with advertising there and cross promoting, for example, if there's a rock concert, like if there's like a kids like this weekend they're having Elf,
Yeah.
they have like specials.
That's cool.
Like Elf specials, shit like that or stuff like that. Strike that.
Can I get some read back, please? Alright. Close that up. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.